mean, you've been a minister in the past, right?
Right.
And a principal. How have those seem kind of like leadership roles?
Definitely.
So how has that sort of changed your approach to leadership?
Well, I think the key to it is, and we just did a study on a book called The Way of the Shepherd,
Hmm.
and one of the last thing it talks about in there is that somebody will pay for your leadership. Either you as the leader will do your part, organize things, step out, be the face of the organization, or you'll advocate that, and your employees will have to suffer for it. So many times leaders that are put in position of leadership don't step forward and lead,
Mm.
and they take the title and they think they've accomplished something, and really people people don't follow you. I mean, you can have a title, but you've got to do something, and you've got to put forth a plan, a vision, a process. Like going back to the process. If you have a vision for where you want to go, people will follow.
Hmm.
So in both of those roles, as a principal, I was a principal at 32. I became a children's minister
Wow.
at 42, and in both those situations, I felt like you just got to decide what you want to do,
Mm.
and if it may be right, it may be wrong, but in so many instances, the boat has to have some direction.
So when you were in those roles, you were the one who was having to decide what to do.
Right.
Uh, what was it that you decided on that kind of helped give you that, like you were saying, the boat is pointed in a specific direction? What direction did you point your boat in?
I tried to research and find out exactly what was the best approach in both the principalship and also in the children's ministry, and just made a decision. Uh, Branding is really an important, whatever you do. In the children's ministry, I chose the word quest,
Okay.
and everything was centered around that. Every activity, Bible quest, adventure quest, everything. In schools, it was you try to get everybody organized, and then came up with the middle school concept and the team approach as a process. And so, if you don't have a way of getting people, this is where we're going to go,
Mm-hmm.
then there's really it just flounders.
Gotcha. That's one of the things that we talk about in my industry is what's referred to as a servant leader.
Right.
And this idea that like you trust the people behind you, you give them direction, you give them vision, and then you give them the tools that they need to be able to build the path.
Right.
Like you don't necessarily have to be out there in the front, but as long as you're equipping everybody with everything that they need, they'll sort of like get themselves there.
Right. And what you have to do is you have to try to work to get people's heart and not
Mm,
their back. And in doing that, you can't use coercion. You can't say, I'm going to fire you. You have to be there with them, and they have to see that you're willing to put in the time and you know. And I was very fortunate. The very first principal I had, Mr. Jim Fuller, exhibited that. He was the first person there in the morning. He was the last person there in the afternoon. Kids saw him when he walked in. They walked in the gym, and when they got on the bus. So I had some really good mentors from the beginning to see that you have to. Again, it goes back to either somebody's going to pay for your leadership, either you, or if you're not a good leader, then your employees are going to suffer.
mm-hmm. So when you said that, you can threaten people and things like that, I guess what you're trying to highlight there is that fear may get you short-term gains,
All right,
but it'll get you long-term losses.
correct.
Okay.
Because people don't quit a company;
Hmm.
they quit the leader.
Man, that's powerful right
That
there.
is good.
Yeah.
It's true. And sometimes, even if you do your very best, there's going to be people that are not going to stay with you because they don't see the vision that you see.
Mm.
And you don't really want them to stay. Even if they're really, really good and very talented, you don't want them to stay because they will be like drag on like an anchor
There'll be
holding you back,
friction.
friction. Yeah.
Mm.
So, sometimes people are sad when they're good, but you don't need to be. If somebody doesn't wants to leave, you need to say, "Hey, we're excited that you found a new opportunity," and and you go find the next person.
Mm.